The second time and one.
That's a grown man move by Julius Randle.
You're not kidding.
Oh, the effort, the energy, the activity, all on display by the big fella.
Van Vliet committed the foul. And Randle, who's from Dallas, wants to get back home to North Texas with his basketball team.
Boy, he's been good. You know, it's funny. A lot of times with young players, they always want to hit the home run. And what he's shown today is the ability to hit singles, to keep advancing the runners. And by doing that, he's got his team in a position now where they can not only take the lead, but obviously have a chance to go to the Sweet 16.
Here's Van Vliet coming back out after getting stuck underneath. Kentucky with a quick 8-point burst after the early three made it a 9-point margin seconds into the second half. At 40-31, Randle has fueled this spurt by the Wildcats. And here he is defending on Early, who takes the shot over him. And Andrew Harrison pulls it ahead to Randle.
Just a terrific job. The best stretch of defense Kentucky's played in the game the last 2-3 minutes here. Staying connected and disciplined.
Harrison, long, and Van Vliet grabs and goes. That's a charge, a third foul on Van Vliet.
And he's still down.
Yes, he is.
That is a huge play. One of the few times you've seen him out of control. Did a great job. Couldn't tell if that was Aaron there, just stepping in, willing to give up the body to get the charge.
Wessel is going to come in for him because Van Vliet has picked up 2 quick ones in the span of seconds to give him 3 overall.
And that's a big play because you've taken your general, your catalyst out here while Kentucky is in the midst, and oh my goodness.
Sloppy mistake by the Wildcats.
And I was going to make that point earlier. I mean, the margin of error is going to be small in this game for Kentucky. You heard when Tracy talked about the comments from John Calipari about those turnovers. It's the mental mistakes and at times unforced errors that a lot of times separates good from great.
Harrison stepped over the line trying to inbound it. That's his 5th turnover of the game, coming off a career-high 6 on Friday night against Kansas State.
And that's such a big play because you got them on their heels right now. They're reeling a little bit, and your confidence as a group is at an all-time high in this game. Boy, that's an opportunity to maybe create a little bit of cushion.
Wessel. He'll shoot a couple. Evan Wessel.
Good execution there on that baseline. Gets the foul, and now an opportunity to get a couple freebies.
Foul on Polson, his first. Wessel, who went to high school at Wichita Heights with Perry Ellis of Kansas, where they won together 3 state titles. Ellis actually had another year and ended up winning a 4th. Bracket busted. Well, you know what? It's not too late. You can get in again. The Capital One NCAA March Madness round-by-round game at ncaa.com/round-by-round. And Wessel unable to hit either one of them. Here's Poitras driving in, and Kentucky is back ahead. His first lead since 1918.
And also Kentucky has been pretty good in the opportunities they've gotten in the open floor, and then all of a sudden, Ron Baker, they're able to run it right back at him after the score. Just a good decision here. That kick ahead, look at that angle it had created for Poitras to attack. But then Kentucky falling asleep there, just a little out of possession, and Baker with a savvy move there, getting the foul and the finish.
Foul on Aaron Harrison, his second. Baker did that in the first half after a Kentucky rally. He tried to kill it, drove right down and scored, just as he did on this occasion, right on the heels of a big Kentucky moment. He's got the three-point play. Pretty fearless kid. Andrew Harrison.
And that's an example where size does matter, because he didn't have Baker beat, but he just got his shoulder to a point where he could elevate and finish over the top.
Jumper, no. Grab, though, by Cotton. Out to Baker. He wants it. He got it.
And how often do you see that, folks? That offensive rebound, the defense is not, they're not solid, and then you get that three-point shot because they're all scrambled trying to get that loose ball.
Baker now with 13. 5 of them the last 2 trips down the floor. Dakari Johnson. That's a strong move.
Yeah, it was, and great recognition by Andrew Harrison on that mismatch.
Now Baker with Poitras guarding. Gets a little help from Carter's screen. Wichita State with Cotton. It's off Kentucky.
See Andrew Harrison here with a nice job with the body control, but Baker off the offensive rebound, knocking down the triple. What a game. Wildcats, shockers.
Drew comes on at 7:40. Baylor Creighton.
Well, after Wichita State came out and hit that 3 to start the half, Kentucky upped the ante intensity-wise and activity-wise, and really Harrison and Randall have been the 2 guys thus far that have brought it. Let's see if the rest of the young cats can step up.
Shockers have 13 to shoot. Tough time inbounding it, and it's a 5-second violation. Baker says someone was holding me, but Kentucky forces the turnover.
Good job by the young cats. Again, remember the last time on the baseline out of bounds, they ended up committing a foul on Wessel. That time, much better job of containment.
And they bring Wiggins in for Van Vliet, who had just come in for that attempt to throw it in bounds. He's got the 3 fouls, and Coach Marshall will protect him on this defensive stand right here. Back to Cauley-Stein, short on the dunk.
And you know what, Van Vliet, I should say Baker, bothered him just enough to not allow him to gather.
And they're not sure who touched it last. They can't review it until the last 2 minutes. A new rule this year. And it's off Cauley-Stein, it looks like.
Looks like it was off of him, but again,
it's going to stay with Kentucky.
Good break for Kentucky on that possession, no doubt.
Randall. Wiggins reached in and knocked it out.
Another good break there, because that could have rolled off of Randall's legs. That's one of the few times I thought he made a bad decision. The attack was there, but he had Harrison wide open in the corner, who was the inbounder on that possession. Wichita State now is going to that zone. Remember, no Van Vliet on the floor.
All the way over to the wing. And Aaron Harrison drills it from 3 and the lead.
I tell you what, Aaron and Andrew really have come to play today.
Wiggins. Cotton short. And that foul, Randall was fighting for it along with Early, but they call it on Wiggins.
Yeah, Randall Did a great job, but take a look here. Just good ball movement. That interior pass right there is where you create the opportunities in the zone. That paint, in essence, has to be touched. That sinks the level of the defense to the ball and then creates those passing angles for rhythm jump shots.
Feeds Cauley-Stein to perfection.
Wow, how about the patience by Harrison there? And the execution on the lob.
Matches Kentucky's biggest lead, which came at 19-15 before. Baker, again, after a Kentucky moment, wants to take it in his own hands.
And just the ability, coming off this screen, you see the Harrison allowed just enough time for Cauley-Stein to get that roll and that finish.
Cauley-Stein's coming out after picking up a third foul, and Van Vliet is back on the floor for Wichita State.
And that's going to be important because remember, with this Kentucky team, they look to attack at the guard position, and Van Vliet's got to be really careful to avoid picking up a fourth foul. Now, I'm wondering if they're trying to determine who the foul was on. Not sure what this break is about.
Cauley-Stein had come out. He had been already called for his third. And they now are going to the monitor. They may change the foul call. Might get switched over to Aaron Harrison.
Yeah, it can. There's no doubt about it.
That's the foul.
Well, you could have called the first hit on the penetration, or you could have called that reach. Not sure which it was.
They did not change it.
Yeah.
It's going to stay as a Cauley-Stein third. Down to Carter, and he's able to squeeze that shot off with the foul committed by Poitras.
Yeah, it's a good duck in on that weak side. He just came from the weak side with a flash post, good post delivery to pick up the foul.
Darius Carter, the junior from Akron, Ohio. Been a part-time starter. Came here from a junior college in Indiana. They'd like to go back to Indianapolis if his team can win here today. Coke Zero wants to know, are you a real fan? Hashtag prove it. Visit the Coke Zero social arena in March Madness Live. And one of two.
Kentucky has had really a solid stretch here, both offensively and defensively. Now let's see if they can sustain that over the next 3 or 4 minutes.
His first 7-8 minutes, very similar to the first 7-8 minutes of the first half, when Kentucky had both ends working in sync. Dakari Johnson took that rebound away, and Early will not let that happen to him.
You know, that was an instant. If Harrison had have not tried to avoid the contact on that penetration, he may have picked up the fourth foul on Van Vliet.
Wichita State's gone over 3 minutes without a shot.
And they also haven't gotten that man right there involved offensively.
Here's Early. There it is. That's a two.
And that's one thing I think down the stretch. They're going to have to get him a little bit more involved offensively.
Randall playing away from the basket here. 6 to shoot. Looking on Early.
Oh my
How
goodness!
does that find the hole?
And you know, that's a mistake by Wichita State, but a brilliant play by Randall. The scouting report on Randall, when he goes hard right, he's spinning back. And the defense doesn't react in time, and he's got the ability to switch it from left to right. Take the contact and get the finish. Big fella, bring it.
Well, for those who have watched a lot of Kentucky games this year, I'm sure they would tell you this is about the best they've seen Kentucky play. They have put together a really strong start to this second half.
And you know, I would comment on that by saying this is the smartest I've seen them play all season. That shows you the growth this young group has made. And I know the point's been made, but they start 5 freshmen, folks, and no matter how talented you are, you still have to make good decisions under duress. And they've done a really good job of that here in the second half.
Randall has 10, 8 coming in this half. Wiggins putting up the 3, and he has just outscored his brother's production on this floor from earlier today. He now has 5.
Yeah, and a great hard basket cut by early forced help that created the opportunity for Wiggins on the weak side.
It's a big shot there for the Shockers. Your point about these freshmen for Kentucky, as one of them right there, Andrew Harrison, takes it to the basket +1.
And it's interesting, really, Andrew plays a lot like Van Vliet at times in that he understands who he is. He knows he's not going to blow by people, so he uses his, I should say, his strength and size to create opportunities, and that's a perfect example of it right there, and a beautiful finish with the harm.
You talk about lack of experience for Kentucky. Coming into this tournament, they had 10 total minutes of experience in NCAA tournament time. All 10 minutes belong to one guy, John Hood, who's a 5th-year senior. There he is at the top. John Hood, a Kentucky kid who played a sophomore year, saw some tournament action. Virtually no experience. They all played in that SEC tournament, though, with signs that they were coming to life at the right time. Took Florida down to the wire. Over the top. Lufield pausing, waiting, and getting it.
Good gather. Nice find by Van Vliet. Even better gather by Lufield and not really losing control of that basketball and able to finish even with the contest.
Shadrach Lufield. Again, it's Kentucky by 1. Midway second half. Here's Randall. And Baker comes in for the board.
Yeah, but that was a good no call on that charge because early flopped, and they got away with it, and then he's able to get out in transition, I should say. Good play there by Wichita State, and we were seeing it again, the ebb and flow. Similar to the first half, Kentucky with that great start. Then they started to get a little rattled. Let's see if they can gather here down the stretch.
Young, ball into the hands of Lufield, back to Randall. Long by Harrison. Shockers have come back from 4 down again to take the lead. We've had 11 lead changes in this game.
This has been a heck of a game, folks.
Van Vliet.
Oh, what a pass. What a block.
Randall comes in to deny, and Kentucky the other way with Young bouncing in and off the rim. Saved by Lufield. Early. Will he take it in? Yes, he will.
Oh, my goodness, what a play. What a play there. Defensively to start it for Wichita State. And then the big fella, he attacked early. Now he's starting to attack.
We were there when they played at Rupp Arena back in December. And Louisville awaits the winner in Indianapolis on Friday night.
And both really are much improved teams. Speaking of Louisville and Kentucky.
Of course, once in a lifetime, the Killers singing about it. This 35-0 team, Wichita State. No team has ever attained that record before.
Now let's see. Wichita State, they took the big blow here the first half of the second half. Let's see how they respond to Kentucky.
Lob, wide, and Wiggins is able to grab hold of it. Foul Kentucky.
And that's an example right there where if Andrew had made the play a fraction sooner, and then also towards the rim. That play was there, but the pass had to be precise.
Poitras sits with his second.
One of the adjustments Kentucky's made, they put Young on Van Vliet here in the half court.
Here's Early, who has 19. Lob to Early. Oh, just a little too steep.
No, you know what? I actually think, Jim, the pass was fine. He just
Jumped
missed
early.
it. He just missed it. It was in his hands, and he just missed it. He knows it. He had it.
Looked just a fraction off on the top.
It's understandable. They know Kentucky. They know the history of the storied program and the hype of the present one. And he said there's a lot riding on this, guys. Not only a berth in the Sweet 16, but a chance to quiet the critics and get a quality win over a premier team, guys.
Well said. Yep, not intimidated by Kentucky. That's what Greg said. In fact, they viewed it as though being excited to have a chance to show people. Watch the games on your Amazon Kindle, Android phone, iPhone, iPad, or computer. NCAA March Madness Live. Watch now, ncaa.com/March Madness, or download the app today. So 2 free throws converted.
How about just the ebb and flow of this game, the runs, the momentum shifts, and both teams have shown a lot of intestinal fortitude.